Hi guys, Mr. Beast here, and I'm just throwing a little video out there now that we're a quarter of the way through the season, kind of give a quarterly report on where I see things in our league right now. This year we're not having Monday Night Commish or the Deep Dive Show or the Heroes Hot Seat, so I kind of miss talking about that stuff and hearing what people say about what's going on in the league. So I thought I'd just throw a quick video out there, kind of generate some talk on our league, let you know where I see things right now and maybe where they're headed, and we'll see what you guys think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the 12 teams and give you my kind of current power rankings and where I see things are and where I see things going, and we'll see what you guys think, if you agree or not. So let me get started with my rankings. Got some notes here, so I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can read them. But I'll start with number 12 and work my way up. Number 12, I still got Shin Money down in the bottom. He's got some young talent. He's even got a win this year, and that's a good sign for him. But I really don't see that team putting up a whole lot of points. He's got things to look forward to, though. There's some good players. We'll see how Fields pans out as he maybe takes over the Bears starting job now. Devontae Smith is going to be a star, I think, in this league. And, of course, T. Higgins, when he gets back and healthy, he'll be a star. And then we'll see what happens with NTN and his injured player and what he gets in the draft. But he's got things to build on, but this won't be the year. So he's number 12. Number 11, I've moved Cody back down to number 11. The team I thought would have some potential and some scoring weeks. He had a narrow loss this past week by 4, but I don't see that team really squeaking out more than 3 wins maybe this year. And now he's started the process, kind of trading off of scorer in Evans. So, you know, I'm sure the season will kind of go that way, and we'll see where some of his better players end up. But I've put him down to number 11. I still think in a head-to-head matchup against the Munn Dynasty, he'll win that one, which will keep him out of the basement. Number 10. Scott. I think I had you down there. Maybe I had you at 11 before, but maybe I've moved you up one. But again, another team that's just going to have a tough time scoring. Good win last week, beat Cody, and you got a W on the board. Again, it's going to be a team that's just has some people who can score, but it's not deep enough, and it's just going to be a struggle for the Dynasty champions this year. I kind of imagine and see in the future maybe a little fire sale going on, grabbing some draft picks for what what talent he does have on the team. But we'll see how it all plays out. Now he's got a Joe Mixon injury, which doesn't help. So that's the kind of thing that that team can't afford, and it will find a few wins this year. Because there are players who can score on that team, but it's going to be a long haul. So that's my take on the Dynasty champions. Number 9, I've slid one of my playoff teams down to number 9. I had a group of teams that I thought were going to be competing, and I had to just pick one that would squeak into the playoffs. And I picked CB's team. But now I'm seeing the actual play. Sorry, CB, but I see your team sliding down to the number 9 spot. Ryan Tannehill and Ben Roethlisberger. Tannehill will be all right, but Roethlisberger is really not a good player. Also, Robert Woods. I don't know I thought he'd be a top 12 wide receiver this year, but I'm not seeing that happening with him in the Rams. And I think it might be a long year. Running backs, we knew was going to be kind of a struggle. and it's with one real starter and then a couple of guys who can score with McKissick and Nyheim Hines, but it's going to be kind of a flip of a coin to see where you get points from. So you will have point weeks, and you will be better than the three teams I've mentioned, but I think that team won't materialize into a playoff team this year. Now, my next rankings, numbers 8 through 5, I've kind of got a group of 4 that I'm going to put in that. 2 of these teams will make the playoffs, and 2 won't. And I think any of these 4 could. And of course, whoever comes through, they'll be grabbing those 2 playoff spots that I have in my rankings. And those 4 teams are the Heroes, Mike Vick in a box, Mr. Yunt, and the Koalas. Now the Koalas I didn't have much hope for at the beginning of the season, but I now see some of their potential pretty much from the game that I played against them when they put up 186, and I got very fortunate to win at the last second, because that's the kind of team that I did not, or this kind of scoring I did not see that team having, but they can do it. I will say that, well, before I get into the rankings, so I'm going to pick my rankings right now. 2 of those teams missing the playoffs and 2 of them making them. So I'll kind of start with my number 8 team, and my number 8 team is the Koalas. And again, they can put up points, but I don't see them being consistent enough. One of the things I see happening with the Koalas is running back issues. You got an injury to Montgomery, and that's going to be pretty hard to deal with. Also with Miles Sanders, really isn't going to be Philly's main man, so he's not going to be a high scorer most weeks. Kind of surprising last week what Seattle did with Carson getting less work, and I don't know if that's going to be a trend in the future. So you've got some good running backs. Montgomery was probably your biggest workload guy, and now he's hurt. And so the rest of the running backs are kind of hit or miss, and they're not going to get that workload to keep you scoring consistently, having high scoring weeks. Now, also, quarterback number 2 is a question mark on that team. Herbert, good. Wentz, and well, now he's been starting Brissett, so there's some troubles there. So we'll have high scoring weeks. We'll take care of the bottom 4 teams when they play them. We'll have trouble beating the top 6 teams in the league. My number 17, just out of the playoffs, is Mr. Yunt. Currently, Patrick is 3rd highest scoring team in the league, but as I look down the roster, I'm seeing a few things. He's got good talent from Deebo Samuel, who's stepped up as a top 10 receiver in the league right now. Will that continue? We'll find out. I think Aaron Jones is a legit superstar, and he'll go, have a lot of big weeks. But he's not getting production from other players. If he gets production from these other players, he could be a threat for sure. Those players include, well, Jameis Winston. Nice to have that starting Saints job, but the Saints aren't doing what Saints do. And last week when Tyson Hill came in and stole 2 touchdowns from him, that kind of stuff is going to happen to him all year. He'll have those games where he has the 5 touchdowns, even though that was only on 20 attempts. But he'll also have those games, those 10 to 12 point games that don't really give you the juice for a number 2 quarterback. And that's all he has on the roster, 2 quarterbacks. So you better cross your fingers that Stafford and Winston stay healthy, or there could be trouble. A couple other players that I wanted to mention of him. Allen Robinson. Don't know if he's ever going to get it going with Fields here or not, but he has definitely not been a top receiver like we thought he would be. And when we looked at the Miami backfield at the beginning of the season, Myles Gaskin looked like he's the man. And I think he's had like 9 carries or something ridiculous in the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure how many he's had, but he hasn't been doing anything. And so he's kind of lost that player. So he's got to kind of find another way to go about getting some production from his running game. But he is the 3rd highest scoring team so far. So if that continues, he's going to win some games. All right, that puts me to the playoff teams. And number 6, just getting into the playoffs. I still have him as a playoff team. I had him ranked as 5 before, now I dropped him to 6, and that is Brendan. Brendan has some scoring potential, as we saw, I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago. Lost a tight one, but had a high score and was pretty competitive. I think Brendan's team is going to be streaky, up or down, like a lot of teams will be. But he's got a lot riding on a couple of combinations, with the Dallas combination between Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and with the Brady and Godwin combo. That those teams, as we saw this past week, neither one of those combos worked, and there goes kind of your week. So, as those go, Brendan will go. But on those weeks that they're on, he's going to be tough to beat. Let me say a couple other things about his team. I guess that's about it. Has the potential and the players to be very, very good, but all of those star players are kind of streaky, and that will determine whether or not he gets into the playoffs. All right, number 5. The team that I'm getting more impressed with every week is Mike Vick in the box. Although we will always be able to say that Mike Vick in the box lost to Shin Wu this year, and we'll still try to figure that out by the end of the year. But let me say a few things about his team. First, he's got some great talent that's on the rise. Kyler Murray right now is playing like the top quarterback in the league as far as fantasy goes and scoring points. His rookie receiver, or rookie running back, who is more like a receiver, Najee Harris, is catching a lot of passes, cranking up the points. Even though the Steelers suck, they will. Najee will be a scoring machine for him. So he's very solid at receiver with Jefferson and who's his other receiver? Oh, and Terry McLaurin. So you can expect decent points out of those guys every week. And he has the ace in the hole. Although he's got Heineke starting, Sam Darnold, I'm sure, will get some playing time because he's starting to put up some numbers that you can't ignore. So I see Mike Vick in the box as being a good scoring team every week, and could be a tough out as the season goes on. Okay, now going to the top 4, and I'll start with Rye Bread. I think I had Rye Bread maybe 4 or maybe 3 before, and I'm going to put Rye Bread up there in the top 4, obviously because of the talent that he has on that team. A big piece, I think, though, this year more than even last year, will be the health of Christian McCaffrey. Having that automatic 20-25 points every week is going to be a big thing for him once he gets back and healthy. Has good talent all across the board. The trade for Mike Evans should be helpful. That's a nice flex spot with a potential score. Although Mike Evans will be Mike Evans, and you could get 5 or you could get 25. So we'll see how that plans out. With the loss of Deshaun Watson this year, thought Ryan's quarterbacks were going to be a little bit dinged up because he still has Josh Allen, but Baker Mayfield's very conservative, not going to be scoring a lot. But now I'm seeing the emergence of Daniel Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him and Josh Allen being a nice combo for 40 points a week. We'll see if Daniel Jones can keep that up. And in the end, he's got the talent that can be competitive. I think CMC is a big part of that. We'll see how it goes. Number 3, I still have me because I think I still have some good talent. Austin Eckler, Henry, Adams. Those guys will be producing enough points to win regularly. And I think those 3 a few weeks ago would have beaten Dynasty champions if they just played by themselves. But so I'm going to put up points. Week 1, though, I had that dud, and that's the potential of my team. I could have that dud, and then I could go off for 180 like I did against the Koalas. So we'll see how that all pans out. I need good quarterback play. Carr started off good. Lamar, I think, is still only okay. I need him to have those 25-point weeks, but my team will put up points regularly. So a good week is what it's going to take to beat me, but it's doable. So I'm not putting myself at number 1, but I think I should win more than I lose. All right, that leaves me with the top 2 teams, and that's the top 2 teams scoring in our league right now. Johnny has the most points in the league, and Alex has the second most. And my number 2 team is actually going to be Johnny, and it's only because on a head-to-head, Alex actually took care of business and beat him. So let me say a few things about Johnny. Johnny's got an all-star lineup, but I actually see a minor chink in the armor in that on his flexes. He started, like last week, he started Juju and Cephas. I don't know that Juju's now with Harris catching all the balls. I think Juju's going to be number 4 option there in Pittsburgh from a quarterback who's not that good. So I don't know what Juju's value is going to be going forward. Now he does have Claypool, who was out, to kind of plug in that spot. So it doesn't hurt him a whole lot, but I would play Claypool when healthy over Juju, but that's just me. And then Cephas, well, with Detroit, you never know what you're going to get. So if he's going to a Detroit receiver as his 9th spot, as his fill-in, that's the only weakness I see. Other than that, it's an all-star cast, and it's going to be solid, and it's going to be a hard team to beat because they're going to score regularly. All right, so there's Johnny. Saying that, one team that did beat him was Alex. Alex's team is loaded when they're good. He's getting solid play from Jalen Hurts, and that's what really makes his team. If Jalen Hurts can be that 20, 25-point guy every week, and Kirk Cousins is going to be good, although Kirk Cousins had kind of a down week. He only scored 7 points, and that's not going to happen very often in Minnesota. He'll get enough out of his quarterbacks just because of those 2 guys. But I'm telling you, Taylor and Chubb will have their weeks. And to have Hill and Diggs, I don't even think Diggs is warmed up yet. He's going to get a nice score from his receivers every week. Then he has a lot of guys who have high ceilings left over for his flex spots. And I think a big part of that is going to be managing those to see which guys do you put in the flex spots, and you got to kind of pick right. And his one loss, when he lost to Chris, he was complaining about not picking the right guys. And, well, that happens. But it's nice that he has guys to pick from. So Alex is going to be a regular point scorer that he's going to be tough to beat. Again, I think of those top 4 teams, any of those would be my favorites for the championship. Then of the next 4, those would be my potential for the playoffs. And then the bottom 4, I think, are just going to be kind of a rebuilding year. But anyways, just throwing some comments out there. I probably didn't cover everything, but I just wanted to throw a little video out just to get some talk going about our league. Quarter of the way through, we've got nobody left undefeated, a bunch of 3-1 teams. We've had some exciting games. We've got a game that was decided by half a point, and another one that was going to be less than half a point, but Dak Prescott took a knee. We've had some great NFL games that came down to the end. We've got some high scores already posted for the top scoring positions. So it's been really good already, and we'll see how it carries on. But we've had a trade this week, so we're moving in that direction, and we'll see what happens. So hope everybody's well, and I hope we get some chat going and some more talk. I'll probably come back after another 4 weeks and we'll check in on things after 8 weeks and see what's happening. Have a great day.